What's up guys, how are you doing today? We are here for a second episode, but this time it's gonna be only one story, but don't worry, it's scary enough on its own. Let's start straight away with the story. In this story, we are going to talk about Harry. Harry is a delivery guy. He tells us that he's been working already for a few hours. Due to the amount of work he had to do, he hadn't had the time to take a bathroom break. But now, it's becoming an emergency. He really needs to pee. So he's thinking that he's close to the next customer, so he's gonna be able to pee there. While getting closer to his destination, he realized he had already delivered in this area a few times. He arrives at the house, parks, and then realized there was not a single light switched on in the house. Not even the TV playing or anything. Thinking it is nighttime and that nobody's in the house, instead of knocking, he preferred just calling instantly. When the person picks up, he tells them that he's in front of the house and nobody's home. Their response is, "Yeah, I'm not home." He realized that the person was out of breath, like they were running. Due to the fact that he wanted to pee so badly, he was not patient at all. So he told them, "I'm sorry, we're gonna have to terminate your order. I'm here in the stated delivery window. Plan better next time." That's just rude. Instantly he regretted speaking like this, and the person responded, almost crying, that she had lost track of time at work and was begging him to stay because she was like 5 minutes away tops and was running home. By her voice he realized it was just like a girl that was 25, and he knew what it was to not have a car and living far from everything. On top of that, he recognized that voice and knew he had already delivered pizza to her a few times, and she was pretty nice, so he just said, no, I'm sorry, I'll see you when you get here." So while waiting, he just looked around for a spot to pee. He found a spot in front of her house, knowing that she wasn't home and that the neighbors couldn't see him. In front of her house, there was a big bush about 1.5 meters away from the door. He got out of the car and started walking towards that bush. He arrives behind the bush, checks around, unzips, and lets it fly. For the first few milliseconds, he started feeling a relief from finally peeing. But that stopped quite quickly after he realized that the sound was more like peeing on something solid than peeing on something like leafy. He tells us that when he starts, he can't stop. So he finishes to pee and then decides, I'm gonna check around. But he didn't have the time to move a little finger that he heard a deep voice saying, "What the fuck?" I would die. That's like the most vulnerable position. So he thinks that he got caught by a neighbor, so he wants to turn around, but he doesn't have time to do this. That someone gets out of the bush. Harry's very confused and doesn't understand what's happening. He can't think right. He's trying to see the guy, and when he actually sees him, he sees that the guy is brushing off something, probably the pee of his pants, and spits out of disgust. And that's when he realizes he probably peed on his face. Rude, Harry. That's not how we do things around here. From this point, Harry's memories are just blurry. He doesn't know what happened. He just knows that the guy is not there anymore and he heard like a car screech, so he's like thinking, okay, he got away with the car. Harry's so confused that he doesn't even put his PP away. He's just standing there confused about what happened. His mind is trying to make a reason to tell him everything is okay. His mind is starting to tell him stuff like, oh yeah, the bush is linked to the neighbor's garden. But his inner voice is just telling him there is a man in a hoodie when it's 30 degrees outside. That's just a bad man and you in danger. But he doesn't listen to that. He's trying to find a reason why that happened. So he decides to walk around the bush with a flashlight on to find something to make it okay. He arrives behind the bush and finds a bag, and he's like, okay, that's good. That's gonna give me my answer. He takes the bag in, opens it, and finds a sharp knife, duct tape, and pills. Yeah, everything is okay. At this point, his mind stops lying to him and he understands everything. He knows he needs to get back to his car and get away from here because he's in danger. So he runs back to his car, gets in, and drives as fast as he can and as long as he can because he's not able to drive. He's so confused and so panicking. So he stops at a 24-hour drugstore and then think, okay, I'm in my car, I'm safe. If there's a problem, I can drive away. So who do I call? Do I call the police or do I call the girl that might be in danger? He thinks the girl is in danger, so she needs help right now. So he dials the phone to call the girl and then just stopped it instantly. A thought crossed his mind. What if the girl is just a decoy and it's actually him that was gonna get robbed? He starts panicking and turning everything upside down, so instead of calling the girl, he prefers calling the police. So he calls 911 and he's a wreck. So the person calms him down and asks him to explain everything. While he's explaining the story, he's contradicting himself because of that panicking moment he just had. So he tells them, you have to find a girl because she's in danger, but she might not be real, but I talked to her, so she's probably real. And there's a guy in a bush, but he might not be real, but he's probably real because I saw him, and you can find him because I peed on him. That's important information to say to the police. After a while, the person understands the situation and tells him to stay on the line and to stay quiet. After that, the customer calls and he doesn't want to hang up 911, but at the same time, he's like, should I answer or not? So he tells 911 and they are just letting him know they're gonna be there in a minute. Don't worry about it. Right after that, he receives a text from her saying, I'm here. Where are you? I can't see you. Then everything's starting rushing in his head and he starts thinking, okay, the odds of her being a decoy are very low compared to the odds of her being in danger. But he's thinking, how long is a minute for them? So he starts panicking and feeling guilty. So he mutes the phone call and starts driving back. The closer he gets, the more his heart is pounding in his chest. He's panicking. He's getting closer, so he unmutes the phone and tells 911 he went back for the girl. He tells us that the officer was mad, but was telling him to hide. Arriving close to the place, he sees the girl looking for him. So he starts flickering his lights to let her know he's here. The girl arrives close to the window. She looks happy, so he's like, okay, that's a good sign. He puts down the window and whispers to her, get in. Get it. But the girl doesn't understand and she's like, what, get it? Oh, you want me to get the pizza from the back? He understands he's not clear enough. So he goes, there's a man in the bushes. Please get in the car. I'm on the phone to 911. Look. And he shows it to her as a proof. And the girl just gets in the car way too fast, but he doesn't have time to think about that. And they drive away. 911 checks on them and asks if they're there, if they are safe, if he has the girl. And they agree to a location. They go there and shortly after, a police car arrives. The police officers are calming them down and making sure they're safe. And then they ask them for their statements. That's where Harry is going to understand what happened. Apparently that girl has an abusive ex-boyfriend, so psychotic that the sentence, there's a man in the bush, relates to him instantly. That's why she got in the car so fast, because she knew who they were talking about. Apparently later, that girl called to say thank you and left a huge tip. But Harry wasn't there to refuse, so he went to his employer, and apparently the employer had already agreed that he would give her enough one free pie ticket for a lifetime. Harry tells us that still today, he's so traumatized by what happened, and he knows he will never be the same. So whoever that was behind that bush, that's not me. Okay. Alright, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I guess see you later for another spooky time. Stay sweet!